So we are back with our PIP process. We have Arts and Parks Equal Community. We also have a couple of elected officials behind me. I want to give a shout out to Councilman Russ Pulley, who is with us, as well as Judge Sheila Calloway. Thank you all for joining us. And you will have 7 minutes to present. And I just wanted to say in advance, thank you for taking the time to put this together. It's possible that not every PIP will be funded, but it also means that there might be an additional opportunity in the future. So we appreciate you all being here. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Hamilton, and I'm the Supervisor of Theater for Metro Parks Cultural Arts. I'm here to present to you today Arts plus Parks equals Community, which is a collaboration between Parks and the Arts Commission. Every day, each one of Metro Parks' 23 community centers can serve anywhere between 45 and 150 young people through their free after-school programming, which adds up to about 1,500 kids per day. The majority of these young people are underserved children of color whose only extracurricular activities are the experiences offered by their community center. And while these programs are absolutely worthwhile, sports, social activities, homework help, there's a component of their experience that's missing: the arts. The arts are an important part of a child's holistic education. Disadvantaged youth who participate in high levels of arts engagement are less likely to drop out of high school, more likely to earn their college degree, obtain gainful employment, and find time to give back to their community. However, access to arts education for these groups has been on a steady decline. African American and Hispanic youth have about half as many opportunities in arts education as their white peers. But with your support, we can make arts accessible for so many young people on a daily basis. In the past, Metro Parks Cultural Arts had a thriving community center program. During the recession and the budget reductions that followed, the cultural arts programs were downsized. But now, with a newly invigorated staff of highly skilled supervisors, we will bring arts back into community center after-school programs. According to a recent study supported by the After School Alliance, the hours between 3 and 6 p.m. are peak hours for juvenile crime. Gun violence among youth in Nashville has surged in recent years, with 2015 having the highest number of fatalities among those under 19. Napier Park Community Center lost 4 of their young people, including a 12-year-old boy, to gun violence. We believe deeply in the power of arts to help change those numbers. The arts help youth process real-life experiences, no matter how painful they are. They help to create a productive channel for time and energy, and allow youth to create and express without judgment or fear of being wrong, increasing confidence and a sense of positive empowerment. It enhances youth's interpersonal and collaborative skills and challenges youth to think critically about the world around them, inspiring them to make our community, our city, our world a better place to not only live, but to truly belong. Our proposal is simple, yet vast in scope and impact. In the first year of implementation, we are going to bring the arts back into 3 community centers: the Easley, Kirkpatrick, and Napier centers. And we're bringing them back in a big way. Every child who comes to the center will have the opportunity to participate in 6 hours of arts programming per week, or 90 minutes of quality arts instruction each day. That's more than both M&PS elementary and middle schools are able to provide their students. And by providing arts programming in the after school, we can bolster the effects and efforts and impact of arts programs that M&PS is able to provide. During year 1, our teaching artists will spend 32 school year weeks and 5 summer weeks creating meaningful arts experiences at these centers. By meaningful arts experiences, we mean a hip-hop music production class that'll focus on making drum beats, creating bass lines, writing lyrics, and performing. Theater devising, in which young people will collaborate with others to write and perform original works. Afro-Caribbean dance, in which students will learn traditional dances and create new original movements based on their own daily experiences. And creating recycled artwork, which will promote reuse and sustainability while expanding their understanding of what can truly be art. This extended time frame will allow our teaching artists and students alike to create relationships, to build trust and community. We'll also provide students with field trips to some of our major cultural institutions like TPAC, the Frisk, the Nashville Ballet, at least 4 times a year. Each partner, Metro Parks and the Arts Commission, will provide training opportunities for the program facilitators. Teaching artists will receive training from the Arts Commission on integrating best practices and creating relevant programming that is responsive to the needs and interests of the community. And community center staff will receive training from Parks Cultural Arts on supporting arts programming through engagement and commitment. In year 2, we'll expand programming to 3 more centers for a total of 6, add a full summer arts program, and a paid summer youth apprenticeship program. The Arts Commission will also be adding a summer artist in residence program, and Parks will be adding a part-time program manager. In year 3, we'll grow to 9 centers year-round and increase the part-time position to a full-time position in charge of managing the entire program. The success of this program lies in our commitment to quality programming, our long-term goals and assessment, and our unique position within the community. Each year, we will measure program outcomes among artists, staff, and students, and by year 2, we should have concrete data to guide our work. The Arts Commission has seen an increased demand for funding from local artists seeking to create arts programming in the community. Parks and community centers needs that service. A program like this one has been requested by our community, and this funding will give us the resources to help meet that need. This is our proposed budget. Our main line items in each year include artist compensation and training fees. All that said, we know this program will help enhance and supplement the mayoral priorities that you, Mayor Barry, have put forth for our community. This model of this program is focused on engaging youth where they are, both culturally and geographically. Our arts programming will give youth the tools to use art in a social justice and civic action context, in turn supporting mayoral initiatives like the Youth Violence Summit Advisory Board and Public Health Institute. In researching best practices, we discovered a successful community center-based youth arts program in Austin, Texas, now in its 20th year. Both cities are known for their artistic economies, and as Nashville continues to grow, we need to reinvest in our youth's creative spirit and continue to provide opportunities for our creative workforce. The arts have the remarkable ability to positively affect a child in his or her entirety. We want this for all the youth in Nashville, and we have to start somewhere. This program will be an invaluable investment of public funds, and we cannot thank you enough for taking the time to listen and consider this proposal. But here's one more thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So, based on your projections, the first year, the 3 community centers, how many youth will you serve?
So that's a great question. So we have projected about 80 children per 3 sets of community centers. So
80 times 3.
Yeah.
So at each community center, you can serve 80 kids.
Correct.
What's the demand at each community center? And so what, I mean, how many are we serving as opposed to how many actually need it?
Great. So Sally, do you want to take that?
Right now in our summer enrichment program and our after-school program, we serve anywhere from 50 to 120 kids over the 26 community centers. So some of the smaller centers have smaller numbers, but the centers that we focus this on, the 3, 6, 9, are the urban centers where we have crowds of children. And right now, our cultural arts is very limited as far as what we can serve those children. So we're focusing on the urban areas.
So this is an add-on to existing programs that they're already getting at these, so are we getting new kids into this, or are we serving the same children that were already there?
It'll be we're serving children that are already there, but of course there's probably children that aren't there that would be interested in art, so we will promote that, you know, this is going to be available. It will be on our schedules that are posted on the website at each community center. So I would think that we will get more children into the programs.
And do you have any idea, let's take Easley for example, and Easley serves a community, how many kids are in that community that could benefit from this program? Any idea on numbers like that?
We don't really, well, come on, Sherry. Sherry Hips is the superintendent of community programs. So.
Hi, Easley is located over in the Edgefield neighborhood, and they average 130 kids weekly, daily, between the 2 middle the middle school and elementary school that are there now, plus the neighborhood that surrounds would easily bring more children in. So they're very vibrant, supporting children.
So, okay, go ahead.
100% of our public school students in lower school get arts education. How will you coordinate with MMPS to make sure your programming is complementary?
We would contact the schools located next to the centers we're proposing so that we would coordinate the arts they're already doing, making sure that we're providing arts that they haven't been exposed to.
Okay.
The other thing, Nancy, that I would say is the way this is structured is to do a sampler program so that there would be music, dance, visual arts, and theater offered to the child 4 days a week. So this would sort of broaden what they're already offered in class. The other thing I would say is these students, that their school-based exposure to the arts is almost literally their only exposure to the arts. So this would sort of expand sort of the daily access to those particularly low-income communities.
Great, thank you.
How did you pick the locations for year one? At the beginning of your remarks, you talked about Hispanic and African American kids not having access to the arts. Was that considered in your selection?
Those are our most urban sites that have the highest attendance there and limited to no art, unless it's presented by our community center recreation staff, which are more of the athletic type of activities. So this would bring in new avenues of activities for them.
So it's based on just volume? Volume of kids, okay.
Almost 50% of your ask is for an administrator and artist in residence, neither of which are in year one. Can you explain why you want 50% to go to that versus more kids, and what does that do compared to helping more kids as you're doing in year one?
So in our cultural arts program right now, we have one full-time staff person on in each discipline that sort of oversees all the programming. In order to expand all this and for this to be viable and something that we can continue doing and hopefully expand beyond this 3 years that we're in all community centers, we will need more staffing positions to help fill that need, really skilled staffing positions, and so that's why that's part of the ask, because we are not capable with the programming that we already provide to add this on as another part of our responsibilities. So.
And the artist in residence, how about that?
Yeah. So Nashville doesn't have any residencies right now in its municipal program. So the way a residency works is basically that's a full-time artist employee that would be basically embedded within a center providing day in, day out annualized programming. So certainly that cost, if we found after year one that it was more effective to hire a string of smaller teaching artists with smaller salaries, we could certainly divert that money if we didn't feel like the residency was sort of the most effective tool. If that answers the question.
Well, I just wanted, because we were talking about after school, and I wasn't sure the value if the kids were in school during the day and were coming after school, if you wouldn't do better with a whole lot of part-timers covering more places than a few full-timers in residence.
Which is one of the reasons we left that into years two. We want to evaluate year one and figure out what the needs are, and certainly believe that a residency would be necessary specifically to deeply embed an artist to create, one artist to create deep relationships in communities, but we've left it open such that we could divert that to teaching artist stipends if we needed to in years 2 and 3.
My last question, is there not an opportunity for public-private partnership in this rather than Metro paying for everything?
There is, and since I'm up here, I'll answer, but the Parks Department has applied several times for outside grants, and I think that there certainly with some efficacy and some program structure in place, this would basically be very attractive to a variety of national and local funders, but I think we need the infrastructure in place first.
And I'm sorry, one more. What is the cost per child to offer this service?
I don't know. I do not know that we have that per child, but we could certainly get that back to you.
I'm just thinking, as a company, I might adopt a certain number of children if I knew a cost per child to provide the service for the year.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do we have I got a couple quick questions. So you listed a bunch of external partners. These would be where the teaching sources would come from?
Those would be not only where the teaching sources would come from, but also the field trips that we talked about. We expect to get most of that donated. We already started last year. TPAC did give Napier Community Center a trip to Me and My Shadow, which is part of their HOT series. And so we're cultivating cultivating those relationships, and hopefully that will be part of the in-kind donation that they give those tickets for free, that we only have to pay for transportation for those youth.
And then in terms of outreach to the students, these are students that are already playing at the community center in the afternoons, and this is just a structured program for them? Is that essentially what we're saying? Okay, just make sure I understood that right.
Great, thanks so much, y'all. Appreciate you guys being here.